Hey and welcome to Dune Awakening, a new survival MMO that just released in Head Start on June the 5th. In this video, I want to go over exactly how you can set up your water farm. This will give you an infinite source without relying on blood. Water is by far the most important resource in the game, not just to craft like nearly anything, but also to keep yourself alive. Each of these things can hold 500 milliliters and they generate 45 every minute. So you can see here, I've created 6 of them so far. I intend to make far more, but this gives us 3 liters of water every 11 minutes, allowing us to far easier get everything crafted. So let's cover how you want to set this up for yourself. You can do this as soon as you've reached the research points to be able to unlock that wind trap. If you don't yet have the intel points to do so, be sure to go to every single one of these outposts and you can see by the tooltip whether you've claimed that intel or not. The higher the difficulty the area, the more intel you will gain per outpost. You don't necessarily have to kill everything. You simply have to search around there. You can avoid all the enemies and just grab that intel. Maybe some of the chests too. However, before you start crafting these, always prioritize the Cutteray. That will give you a lot more efficiency when farming for the ores that you actually need for these. In order to get those steel ingots, you simply need iron ore and carbon ore. I've situated my base right here, so it's super easy to go between a big resource of iron and a big resource of carbon. You simply drive around and go and mine it. I do highly recommend having the storage on your vehicle, and that way you can go for longer stints. And maybe you even want to make a buggy to potentially make that mining even easier. I will go more in depth in a different video whether it's actually worth getting the buggy, because it's quite expensive. The next resource required is the Silicone Blocks. You will have to unlock your chemical refinery and here you can craft them. You're going to need lots of flour sand and water. Now for all the water needs up until this point, you will be using blood extractors. So you'll be killing enemies using blood purifiers to convert that blood into water. I highly recommend having that blood extractor Mark II, and you can just use a whole load of small blood sacs. Slaughter a ton of enemies and get their blood, and that should sort your water needs up until this point, as now we want to work on making it a passive thing. So you no longer have to go out there to kill enemies all the time. But you need to make these silicone blocks, so you need flour sand. For this, you need to craft the static compactor. Iron, easy to get. EMF generators, also pretty easy. Simply go to these caves on the map and you will get them in the chests. Getting flour sand is super easy. Find a spot like this near the rocks so you don't have to deal with the worm. Shoot the ground, it creates these little areas, and then you just pick it up, those little piles. In one trip you can get thousands. My best spot, you can see where I am, is right on this slope here. The next thing you need to get is these Calibrated Servok. These will come from outposts. You can see this section up here. Jabal, this area and all these outposts will give you them. All you need to do is grab those chests and you get those Servoxes. We got 23 here. You don't have to kill anything, and with any luck, everything's dead anyway. So now you can actually craft those wind traps. But that's not all. They have a little bit of maintenance to them. You're going to have to craft the survival fabricator. You will research it here, and you need some steel and complex machinery. You can visit these ironworks to get that complex machinery. And then with this fabricator, you need to make these filters. You'll need some steel and just plant fiber. Once you have those filters, you're going to need to make sure that your wind traps are stocked up with filters. This will determine their total uptime. You can see we extended it by another 3 hours. Later on, you'll be able to get higher quality filters which will last longer. However, we then need to look at the power consumption. Each of these wind traps uses 75 power. And you may quickly get overwhelmed. If your base does not have enough power for all your appliances, then it simply shuts down. You can see here, I have so many turbines. all of which need to consume these fuel cells. You can check your base console in general settings and it shows you exactly how much power your base is generating. For me it's 825 and it's consuming 680, so I have some more room. It will also show you here how much time until it powers down because you say don't have enough fuel cells in your generators. But instead of having so many generators, you can save up and begin to craft these wind turbines. They look like this right here and use a lubricant instead of the fuel cells. But first, to craft these turbines, you're going to need a unique resource, which is the cobalt paste. This you're going to have to, at the chemical refinery, create from these crystals. In order to get those, they spawn as like geodes within the deep rift. It's really spooky down here, but this is exactly what the crystals look like. Just on the wall here, you mine them and you get those crystals. However, a much easier way is to simply go to like this outpost, the Eastern Jumble. Again, you don't have to fight anything here. Grab the room unlock, also getting the chests while you're at it with more of those calibrated servoks. And within this room, there is this chemical refinery, and it always has a whole bunch of those crystals. I got 94 this time. You will need to go here again anyway to get the servoks, so I'll recommend coming back here every 45 minutes and you can get more than enough. Now as for the lubricant, you will create this at the chemical refinery, and this simply needs more fuel cells and silicone blocks. We already know how to create those using the flour sand. The main benefit of using the wind turbines over your regular generators is that they generate double the amount of power. So instead of 75, they'll generate 150. And then I believe they're a bit more fuel efficient and will last longer than these. Just be aware again, your wind traps will be taking 75 of that power each. So you have to keep on top of that demand, or your base shuts down and you'll potentially lose everything if you don't get it back up online. And that should be you set up. Just be aware again, that water will fill up in these wind traps every 11 minutes. So you gotta come back and use it. Ultimately, the more you have, the better, because when you come back, they all then have half a liter. So we have 20 of these things and we would have 10 liters to spend. When all of mine are full, I have 3 liters. I have another 3 in the blood purifiers right now. And so we can craft all that we need. And we'll actually make cobalt paste here instead. So that's it. I hope this shows you how you can get all the water you need in order to set yourself up so you don't have to go blood extracting all the time. Thank you for watching. And a special thank you to all my channel members for their extra support. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.